Hello students, I Professor Amar Mudiraj from MC Department, MIT College Aurangabad welcome you all in my first video lecture on operating system course. The topic which we are going to discuss in this video lecture is process and process state. So let's have an idea about the content which we are going to cover in this lecture. Firstly, we are going to see what is process. Then we move to our discussion to what is process states, and at last we are going to discuss the process state diagram at the end of this lecture. So before we moving to contents, let's have a small overview on learning objectives of video lecture. As you can see, after the successful completion of this video, you all are able to understand what is process and which are the various states available for this process. Secondly, we'll discuss and you will understand that how and why processes need to be switched from one state to other state. And as far as the cognizant level of this video, the video made to consider an understanding level of the viewers. So let's start with the process. As a slide showing operating system executing variety of programs. Sometime the batch processing systems execute the jobs, which means a group of similar kind of tasks or set of instructions which need to be executed by the operating system is called as a job. Sometime the time shared system use a user's program or task to get execute, that is depend upon the user. So in many books, the term job and process are almost same or interchangeable to each other. In general definition, process means a program in execution where process execution must progress in a sequential manner. That means where all the given set of instructions need to be loaded and execute into the main memory one by one with the help of processor. Any process which need to be executed in an operating system must have some attributes or characteristics like program counter, which defining the size of a process, stack which maintaining the process state, data section which having the data going to be held or executing by the process during their execution. So let's have discussion on process state. The slide showing the process being in execution will regularly changing its state. That means we can compare these process states with the various behavior activities going to be get happen in a human body. That means a human can have multiple number of states like sleep, walk, eating, think, dead, etc. Similarly, the process also have multiple number of states and more generalized states are listed in the current showing slide. So let's begin with the discussion. First state is a new state where process has been created by the process management unit of operating system, where a process control block of all the processes are be get created, and these control block in the main memory is going to be maintaining information about the entire process. Time to time get changed. Next state is a ready state. Once a process get created, it will be sent to the ready state where the process is waiting to be get assigned by the processor. That means a process will going to wait in a ready state with all given required requests are get maintained by the process for this execution. And once all the resources are get available to the process, now processor is going to be get executing these process according to their required resources to complete its concerned objective or a task. Next process state is nothing but a running state where a processor or a CPU is actually going to executing the instructions put it into the program and which going to be executing as a process. Whenever a process is going to be executing into the running state, it means the process is having execution cycle in the term. By normal execution method, if a process is executing in a very normal format or in a process is completing its execution, so it will be sent it to the termination state. That means once the process will finish its execution, it will be automatically get terminated. If it is not, then it will be sent it to somewhere else. Last state in the waiting is a waiting state where a process is going to be wait for some events or some occurrences of IO actions. We are going to discussing this waiting state, terminate state and running state and remaining states by examination of the process state diagram very briefly. So let's start with the process state. We have referred this process state diagram by the operating system principles and concept by the Galvin. First of all, a process is having a new state where the process control block is get created for all the processes, and each process consisting the various informations about process ID, process state, process size, process resource requirement, process time for execution. Once this process control block is get created by all the processes, then process will get admitted into the ready state. In the ready state, whatever request given by the process for a concerned resources, if all the resources are available for the execution, then the process will moving towards the next state. Otherwise, this process will keep in a ready state for the time while. This ready state can have multiple number of processes for the execution. So this ready state can hold multiple number of processes, and this ready state can be get called as a ready queue for the execution. Once this ready state will executing the process, means a process who wants the processor for execution. If that processor is available for process, then it will be get scheduled by the dispatch scheduler into the running state for the execution. If everything goes according to plan and if nothing going to be get worry about it, means all the resources are available, processes are executing and doing the task very effectively, then it will be complete its execution. Otherwise, if any normal interrupt is get occur, means a process is need to be get executing or changing his normal execution of process, then the interrupt get called and process will send it to the ready state. And if anything, means if everything will be okay, then it will be again dispatched to the ready running state. Once the process will in a running state, a CPU is executing all the instructions of the process one by one, and once execution will be complete, it will be get sent it to the terminate state where the process will release all the resources which he received during this execution. It is often that a process must need to be remove all the resources allocated to that process, so the resources can be get allocated to other processes who may need in the future. There is another option in a running state is that if any IO event or any dependency of intercommunication processes we may need and the resources are not currently available during the process is executing, and during this running state if process is demanding some another resources dynamically and those resources are allocated to some another processes, so the process will send it to the waiting state. Then waiting state will try to identifying and giving the idea to operating system that some of the processes are waiting in a execution for execution in a waiting state. So waiting state need to be get called these IO events for the execution. Then this execution will send it to the ready state for execution. Then termination, the running will be get happen, and finally process will terminate its execution. I thank you all of you to watching my video. And I requesting all of you to please make a comment for this event. Thank you so much for watching this video.